Hey, what's up guys? Dr. Ben, IronRx Physical Therapy. I'm going to show you this progression through a good hip mobility drill that once you get down all the phases is going to be something you can just go straight through into this whole big, what we would call a flow. So kind of putting all these pieces together and to make one big mobility drill or exercise. So this is the hip 90-90 position, but we're going to build it up into a hip 90-90 flow. The first thing is just we're going to sit in a 90-90 sit. So my leg essentially is in a 90-degree direction at the knee. It's coming out. I'm pretty straight through the torso as well. So kind of a 90-degree angle here at the knee. And then this knee as well is at 90 degrees, hence the 90-90 sit. So we want to try and hold this position. If you can't maintain it sitting here, just hanging out, you might have to hold yourself up with your hands. Sometimes holding something like a kettlebell or something a little heavier helps to get that stability to maintain there. But one thing you can do if this is not a comfortable position is just to kind of move through, kind of rotate your body around and over those legs and hips, just to kind of help loosen things up a little bit. So providing a little bit of mobilization through those joints. Switch to the other side. Same thing, just kind of work through what feels stiff, what feels tight. You know, don't be afraid to kind of work an area if something feels tight, kind of pulse into that area of restriction or barrier. And then, so that's step one of this flow. Step two is a good starting point is to lean back on this, and what you're doing is we're rotating those legs, so kind of moving those hip joints through their range of motion, and leaning back kind of opens them up so it's less strain on the joints themselves. So if you lack a little bit of mobility, this is a good way to do it. If you need to kind of open up those legs too, it can help make it a little bit easier for you. But just working back and forth, loosening up those hips. So this would be step two, real basic motor control, mobility, just getting those hips loosened up and limbered up. So once you master that, then we take the leaning back out of it. And again, you might need to hold on to something to help you maintain your balance, or you can put your arms straight out. But just moving through, and this one we're getting the whole body moving as well, back and forth. Trying to keep these feet relatively in the same place. So we're challenging that hip mobility. So that would be step three. Step four, we're going to start by just kind of tucking this foot in, and what we're going to do is be extending those hips. So like you're going to raise up onto your knee and your foot to help improve the joint mobility, but now we're bringing some more motor control into it, getting those glutes working a little bit. So that's going to look like this. Bring these hands up. We're going to squeeze those glutes, raise up. You're stretching out the front of the hips as well when we're in this position. Then make sure you do both sides on all these. Change your foot position. You're going to have a tough time if you just maintain this 90-90 position to get up there. So pretty big key is tucking this foot back, and you might have to bring this leg up a little bit too, so you're in a little more compact of a position. But it just depends on everybody's mobility. I mean, you might be able to do that perfectly without adjusting anything. So that's the next step. The final progression before we get into the whole flow is we're going to come up into this position, and then you're going to come out and do a little bit of a lunge. Come down, control it slow. You're going to come up into your lunge. You might have some challenge with balance like I did there with that one. But again, switch sides, make sure you're doing both sides on all these things. Coming up, bring that leg through into a lunge. So here, you're getting your hip flexor stretch. We're getting tons of motor control to get up into that position. And then coming back and easing down. Now, for the last step, the whole flow. We're going to put things all together. So what that's going to look like, it takes a lot of space, so make sure you got a lot of room, is we're going to rotate through. Then we're going to bring up onto our knee, come into our lunge, and then lunge. Come back down, back into our regular 90-90, and rotate through here, up, come into our lunge, get a lunge stretch there, and back, whoops, back down, rotate back through. So like I said, this one takes up a ton of space, so make sure you're in a big room. Make sure there's nobody around. If you aren't, you can break it up into the little pieces. It doesn't necessarily have to be all put together like this, but I think it just makes it a little more fun to work through the whole piece together. You know, you get a little bit of everything mixed in, but if you can't get through that whole flow, just kind of stop at the stage that you can do and work on that stage and the ones before. So if I can't transition from one side to the other and I have to lean back and just kind of move those knees back and forth, then that's where I stay. I do that one and I spend some time just sitting in the position. So if you have any questions, comment below, shoot me an email. There are some videos on my Instagram and Facebook that cover this as well, so you can look for those. But by all means, reach out, because this is a tough one. There's a lot going on. So let me know if you need any help with it, and I hope it helps improve your warm-ups and hip mobility and get you more prepared for those activities that you love to do. Thanks.